Hey, everybody. My name is, this is Ending the Gaming War podcast, where we as moms are non-gamers. We are trying to get non-gaming moms to understand gaming, spouses, sons, great, you know, nieces and nephews and school administrator. We're just trying to open that door of just ending that war from non-gamers to gamers. And today we're excited. We're going to do it's going to be pro sports and gaming. And today we're excited because my name is Stephanie Hamilton, and I've got here
Kara Lane. And yeah, we're so excited because today I want to introduce to you guys my amazing son. This is Connor Lane. So I'm going to start with you, Connor, and we're going to just go through your childhood and what it means to really care about gaming in the sense of professional sports. Okay, so a few things about Connor before he starts. He's got a baseball scholarship. He wants to be an athletic director. This is part of his life, has been sports on a field, right? And he's an incredible gamer. So it all began when you were little. So tell us some of your first games that you ever played, even though they weren't pro sport games.
Well, how about just classic Wii Sports baseball? That's where it started. Wii Sports bowling, Wii Sports tennis. This is where I first started to see sports in games, but not only because there was no professional sports teams on the Wii, but you were just able to create your own guy, and I don't know, that's where it started for me. The love of sports gaming.
Yeah, that's so cool. And then go ahead and tell us all the other games that you liked. And I let him play because if you watch my TED Talk, I started embracing them as gamers after I realized I was losing it as a mom. It's kind of embarrassing. But anyway, so tell us some of your other games that you played along the years.
Call of Duty was the biggest one, and also Halo. And then they started making the pro games for the Xbox. So they had NBA 2K, they had MLB 2K, and then Madden. So all of these sports games started to come to the Xbox 360.
Now, here's the irony, Stephanie, and I haven't told anybody this yet. I did lose my husband for a few years to Madden. Yeah. And so
I'm still kind of to this day.
And still to this day. So I've had to learn to embrace my husband as a gamer. And he only really likes the professional sports games as well. At least that's on my husband's end. So any questions about that, Stephanie?
Well, I wanted to also say Isaiah was also into Madden. He loved the sports. He liked collecting all the different, and he still has them all, the different Maddens when they came out. And he liked NB2. And he played sports. He played basketball and football, and he loved taking that game that he played in person, just like you, and then playing with a video game. It was fun. He enjoyed it, and he liked the stats and who played and which players would make good combination. I mean, just like you. Yeah. So my question is when did you switch from Call of Duty and Halo to only doing pro sport games? What was the draw for you? What was the decision that made you kind of move towards that, like the pro sport ones?
Well, I don't think you only do that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I still play both, but I would say I like sports games more now.
Okay. Why?
So once I started getting into high school and the talk at the lunch table or whatever became a bunch of kids talking about what pro player was good at the moment, then that's when I started to shift to pro sports games. And I just want to point out, a lot of the pro sports games, they're good for learning the game of the sport that you're playing, because there's old players in it. So people are like, how do you know about Babe Ruth and this stuff? And it's well, because I get to use the people that are back in time today. So
that was my next question. Have you learned some strategies? Have you learned some insight while playing? Yeah. Wow.
Big time.
Can you name one thing?
Yeah. So with my niche is MLB The Show, which because I love baseball so much, they have a game type where you can take old players from the past and combine them with the best players from today.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah. So your lineup is literally like, 4 players from way back when, and then Mike Trout of today.
Okay. But what's one skill? Like, what did Mike Trout teach you in the game?
So I think for teaching, I have to think.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a tough, I was like, specific question.
I don't really know anything about teaching except for that I'm learning the past.
Like
So the
stats
history.
and all that stuff.
Stats, yeah.
Oh, okay. Like the history of the game.
I'm not a huge, pro sports fan even, but I remember, my family was, my dad was. So I remember old players from the Chicago Cubs because I grew up in Illinois. He's a Giants fan, by the way. And so, I would be like, oh my gosh, he would say a name like Ryan Sandberg, right? And I'd be like, wait, that was from my era. So he knows and can keep up with, any age person. So let me tell you how exciting this is. Now, I'm talking mom to mom, parent to parent. My son is able to connect with any generation. And that is beautiful. So he'll talk to people at church, that are in their 60s, 70s, 80s. And if they get on the subject of baseball, oh my gosh, he can keep up because he knows all the players of old. And it's really made them more social, and it's that one point I keep trying to make. And this is why I love having a podcast, is because what we don't realize is as our kids are gamers, no matter what game they play, they now have the ability to have incredible conversations with people about their particular hobby.
And they're like, you learned that from a video game? Are you kidding me?
It's like
people are shocked.
You're bridging the gap, from one generation to the next, backward and, forward, like now. That's cool. It's really cool. I never thought about that.
Yeah, I know. Isn't this a cool thing? And let me just kind of stick with this for a second. As you let your kids game, anybody that's listening right now, you're actually giving them the opportunity to have a connection with their generation at large now, right?
Yeah.
So I know that my youngest son plays that new game, Valorant.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's not into sports games at all, my youngest one. And here's the cool thing, though, is even within his own generation now, I hear them talking about that new game. It's a 5v5. We learned in one of our podcasts what that means. And so make sure you listen to that one with your son, Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
And my point being is that out of the blue, somebody from our church came and said, oh, I play Cassandra. Like, I play with Ryland all the time online. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I had no idea that they had this connection. And it's the main thing I want people to keep realizing is gaming really is connection and collaboration. And it really is social. It is something that I will almost go to death over with somebody in an argument, of people, their moms that come to me and say, I don't want my kid to game because they're not going to be social. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, they're so social. And that gives them something, like when we go back into schools, that gives these kids something to talk about at the lunch table. Yeah.
Because that's all they talk about.
You're kind of the odd man out if you don't have some kind of foot in the gaming world with these generations, these younger generations. So I'm super thankful. It'd be like a hobby. Now, my other son, listen to this. He loves fishing, right?
They have fishing games.
Yeah. So it's so cool. Yeah. I just know that gaming can imitate real life, and sometimes that's exciting too. I want to transition here into scholarships. You have a true athletic scholarship. You play baseball. But can you kind of inform us on esports scholarships? And, you know, parents are amazed that your kid can get a scholarship for college by playing video games. So walk us through that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I like it because it's like for anyone. You know, some people have like physical disabilities, but they can still play video games. And so even though you can't physically get a scholarship to play a sport in college, you can get a scholarship to play as an athlete, because gaming is actually considered athletics. And but one thing when you said that is not only are they offering scholarships, it's full rides to some schools. Literally, like no tuition, you don't have to pay anything. So because I know there's teams in my league for baseball that has gaming teams, and I was like, can I do both?
Can I get double?
Yeah.
Can I get a double scholarship? And then I like what Josh Marchand said in our other interview. He said, I don't have to do like I can do self-promoting, where when you're in a football or baseball scholarship, you can't promote yourself. You can't get sponsors and stuff like that. It's kind of like looked down upon. But when you're a professional esport gamer, you can start getting sponsors and getting yourself out there more and do your platform where you can't in the other scholarships. I thought that was kind of cool. So.
Oh, I just had an aha moment again. That's the second time I've heard that, but it's amazing why we keep diving into this gaming world and we want to end the gaming war. I mean, that's the whole title of our podcast. And by the way, Connor, that came so quick. You know, me and Stephanie, we were like, we want this war, this battle of non-gamers versus gamers to end because we can embrace each other. And I think pro sports, there's so many people that love pro sports, and they can also see the value of pro sports as gaming. Okay, we're getting close to the end here, but I do have another like minute that you could talk about this. Connor, you ready? Yeah. So the other day, I went into your room and you were actually playing with a video game with a real professional athlete. I think it was Hunter Pence was playing. So kind of walk us through how the professional athletes are actually playing their own game as a video game. Help us understand that.
Yeah.
When sports wasn't really happening, they went virtual. So the baseball teams, every baseball team had one player per team that got to play for their individual, like, so Hunter Pence played for the Giants, and they did a virtual online tournament. So basically they all did their own streams online, and then you got to ask them questions, you got to play with them. I don't know, it was really cool to see, because you see them on the field and what they're doing physically. You don't see their like what makes them laugh or like their humor. I don't know, it was really cool.
It brought a personal side to it.
Yeah, that brings me to another point. And this one is very important. What I'm learning from you guys, remember, this is nothing about me. I'm just learning from them. Why there's such an attraction to professional gamers is because of that personal connection. So let's take it a step further. You've got, you know, not just professional athletes, but you have true professional gamers. And why they have so many fans and such a draw is that it's exactly what he just said. It's like these gamers actually get to know their, you know, idols, where Connor doesn't really get to know Hunter Pence or, you know, on a personal level. So that's the draw too. So explain that to us. The professional gamers, why they get such a following.
Yeah, the reason they're so big is because not only are they really good at what they do, because that's why we watch sports, because they're better than us, so we watch them. But so it's the same for watching pro gamers, because they're good at the game that they play. But also day in and day out, they're streaming all day long, and you get to ask questions. You get to, like I said, see what makes them laugh, see their just personal side. Like one streamer I was watching that plays MLB The Show, like he has like a segment on his Twitch stream where he brings his kid into the stream, and then you get to like put in little emotes of his babies, and then so they fill up the comments with like his little heads of his baby, and then like you get to see, I don't know, you get to see like the mom and the dad, like the family aspect.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
Cool. Well, we're definitely at time. So Stephanie, why don't you close us out, what you appreciated about today, and then just how everybody can join us on all of our platforms. Go ahead.
Yeah, please, please, please subscribe and save and share it with video. Share this with people who want to know more about this, who want to end the war with their spouses, with their kids, with teens. And I really, that is my heart and my passion. And also, I just really like the whole history part of what Connor said, like learning about the history of the sport. That goes with the football, the baseball, like those two, and the basketball. And I just appreciate that, and it bridging the gap and making connections with other people from other generations.
Real quick, I notice on the back of the wall, you're in your
Yeah.
son's room right now. He has both of the pro sports.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's a gamer that doesn't always play sport games, so that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you guys for being a part of our podcast. And again, just subscribe and save. And you guys have a great day. And please join our Facebook community if you need more support and understanding of just wanting to end the gaming war with your gamer. Thanks all.
Bye, everybody.
see ya.